There is a sound on the African savanna that most predators have learned to fear. Not a roar, not a trumpet, but a high-pitched chattering call rising from somewhere near the ground. It comes from an animal small enough to fit in your hand, and it can decide whether a 900-kilogram buffalo lives to see tomorrow. This is not a story about strength. This is a story about what happens when the largest animal on the plains learns to trust the smallest one completely. Most people who have heard of the African buffalo's cleaning partners think of the river, the moment the herd wades in, and fish rise to strip parasites from their hide. That story traveled the world. But there is a season when the river is not an option. A season when the herds move deep into the dry interior, following grass instead of water, sometimes for days at a time. And it is in that dry interior, far from any current, any fish, any relief, that the real test of the buffalo's survival begins. Ticks do not wait for the rain. In the dry months, they multiply faster, burrowing into the thick folds of skin around the ears, the base of the tail, the soft tissue beneath the belly where a buffalo cannot reach with its own tongue
on the
or
soft
horns.
underside of a massive herbivore.
A heavy tick load does more than irritate.
Their attachment
it
reveals
drains
the
blood
intimate,
slowly,
complex relationships in
disease,
nature's ecosystems.
and in young or weakened animals, it can be fatal. The buffalo has no way to fight this alone. So somewhere in its evolutionary past, it stopped trying to. Banded mongooses live in family groups of 20, 30, sometimes closer to 50 animals, all descended from the same few females, all raised on a strict internal hierarchy that assigns each individual a job before it is even old enough to hunt on its own. Pups are guarded by rotating babysitters. Sentries take shifts on termite mounds, watching the sky for eagles and the grass for jackals. And a portion of every colony spends its mornings walking the plains in search of buffalo, not to eat them, to read them. A mongoose scout can identify a heavily infested buffalo from a distance, reportedly by the animal's posture. The way it favors one side, shifts its weight, flicks its ears more than usual. The buffalo, in turn, has learned to recognize the mongoose's approach, and instead of retreating, it does something almost nowhere else in nature. It lies down. A 90 times heavier animal, voluntarily making itself vulnerable to a creature it could kill with a single kick. Once the buffalo is still, the mongoose troop moves in with a precision that looks almost rehearsed. Some climb directly onto the back. Others work the legs. A few specialists, often the older, more experienced members, go straight for the ears and the soft skin around the eyes, the places where the worst infestations tend to hide. Researchers who have tracked these interactions describe something unexpected. The mongoose colony doesn't seem to divide the labor at random. The same individuals return to the same regions of the buffalo's body, visit after visit, almost as if each mongoose has claimed its own territory on a living landscape. For the mongoose, this is not an act of charity. Ticks are protein, and protein is scarce during the dry season, when insects burrow deep and the usual food sources thin out. A single infested buffalo can feed an entire colony for the better part of a morning. For the buffalo, it is something closer to survival insurance. But the true depth of this
small
alliance
mammal
only
carefully
reveals
works around the
itself
massive
when danger
herbivore's
arrives.
ear.
Mongoose colonies communicate through a vocabulary of
vital
alarm
symbiotic
calls so
relationship.
specific that field researchers have been able to catalog them. One call for a bird of prey overhead, a different call for a ground predator approaching, a third that signals the threat has passed. A buffalo resting under an active mongoose troop is not just getting cleaned. It is plugged into an early warning system built by an animal with eyes far closer to the grass, far more attuned to movement in the undergrowth than the buffalo's own senses could ever be. When the alarm call for a stalking predator rings out, buffalo in the area have been observed reacting before they've even located the threat, raising their heads, tensing, positioning calves toward the center of the herd. The mongoose's warning arrives faster than the buffalo's own eyes. It is, in effect, a second nervous system.
This symbiotic
on loan
bond reveals
for
the
price of
delicate
a few
harmony of
thousand
nature,
ticks.
where every
Scientists
creature has its
comparing
place.
buffalo populations across different territories found a pattern that reinforced just how much this relationship matters. Herds that regularly interact with mongoose colonies during the dry season carry measurably lower tick loads than herds isolated from them, even when both groups have identical access to grazing and water once the rains return.